Good evening, everyone. Welcome to Four Lads Rangers match reaction. A little bit later because I'm not long back from. Oh my god! I thought that was a spider there. It's a wee bit of fluff. Oh, almost had a heart attack. I'm not long back from Livingston myself, so yeah, 3 points. Thank goodness it was a win. And there's plenty to discuss. Kenny, good evening. You would have enjoyed the golf and the football today. A lot of big games on and stuff like that. Great to get 3 points. Thank goodness.
Yeah, thoroughly enjoyed my day off, mate. A win, a shocker. We've got a win, and it's an injury time winner, isn't it? So delighted to get the 3 points, Stevie, more than anything else. But we've got a lot to discuss, and yeah, I've thoroughly enjoyed the Ryder Cup. It's been unbelievable. Last night was sensational viewing, absolutely brilliant.
Yeah, it has been a good couple of days of golf. I've not seen any today, obviously, but I'll hopefully catch the end tonight. Match day vlog is out from today, folks. If you want to see the match day vlog from Livi, it has highs and lows. When it's an away game, you can actually film the game. So I've got some clips of that in it, which is great. Thank you to George Millen, who has sent a £4.99. Thanks for that. That's not necessary, but thank you very much. In the olden days, I would have bought myself some Haribo, but not now. I'll get something nice. So me and Kenny, I'll treat Kenny to something nice. Kenny, it starts off Russell Martin walking off the team bus and booed, and that was something that continued throughout the game. The fan reaction was strong, and it continues to be strong and negative towards Russell Martin.
Of course it does, Stevie, and this one doesn't really gloss over what's gone before, does it? But I was a wee bit surprised by that. I haven't really seen that before, but it was there through the 90 minutes, wasn't it? It's a very strange thing to see when your team manager's getting booed off the team bus by his own supporters. It's just so unusual, and then even more bizarrely when you score the winner and they're still chanting about it, and it shows you what he's up against, Stevie. And I don't know. I'm not going to say too much on this because I actually feel on a personal level I don't think it can be pleasant at all. But he said something on Sky after it about he has no feeling about it whatsoever, and he obviously does, because this affects him, it affects his family, and it's not pleasant. And we are where we're at, and there's no kind of escaping this at this minute in time, Stevie, until he goes on a run 10, 12 games where we start playing tremendous football and winning every single game. This is what's going to happen, I'm afraid. It's just the way I kind of see it.
Yeah, it is. It's certainly going to become a theme going forward, like it or not. It is difficult for him, but at the same time, the supporters, can't be ignored, and their feeling is clear. So, just going to have to let that play it out. It's something that we will no doubt cover many times. We'll cover it again later in this pod. What did you make of the team selection, Kenny? 3 changes, if I remember rightly. Back 4, Tavernier, Suter, Cornelius, Meghoma, Butland obviously in goals. Your changes, Connor Barron came in for Mohamed Diamande. Tello Asgard and Nico Raskin made up that. Bojan Majowski returned up front, as well as Oliver Antman starting on the right, which I think we all wanted in place of Mikey Moore. And I was quite happy. Talk about Connor Barron in a bit, but regard to changes, I can understand why Barron went in, because they maybe wanted that stability in midfield that they maybe didn't have during the week. A more natural sitter. There was too much space. Majowski returning, I think, makes sense as well. A bit of rotation there with Chermiti. I understand that. And Ant-Man coming in for Mikey Moore, I think, is also self-explanatory. So all of it, to me, made sense. And yeah, I was wondering what the formation would be. Would it be, the 4-2-3-1, or would it be 4-3-3 back to being more open? But that was the selection. What did you make of it?
I wasn't surprised with much of it, actually. Diamande coming out was a wee bit of a surprise because he's not playing on Thursday. So I would have presumed that he would have started today. But that that change worked very well, to be fair to Russell Martin, because I thought Conor Barron was superb first half, actually. I thought he was by far the best player on the pitch in the first half. Ant-Man, yeah, and I think he did okay. I'd like to see him go down the line a little bit more often than he does, but he was cutting inside an awful lot. But he did quite well first half as well. I didn't mind that at all, and Miovski coming in didn't surprise me at all. I don't know how you could tell me more. You were at the game, Stevie, but I still think we're struggling to get our number 9 into the game properly a little bit, and that was kind of my concern, because the ball was there. You were at the game, so you'll be able to tell me better than I seen on the television. But Livi were playing a really high line, and you were looking, for me at times, I was thinking, get the ball over the top and let Miovski run onto that, because I'm not saying he's the quickest, but he's got a bit of pace about him, and I think with that high line we could have exposed that a little bit, and that was kind of the only disappointment in the first half for me. I thought we started slowly the first 10 minutes, but from there I thought we really pushed on in it. Again, I'll agree with Russell Martin. I think that's probably the best I've seen us domestically this season so far.
Yeah, so there's a few things to kind of unpack from the game. 4 or 5 minutes in, easily could be 1-0 down. Livi go in on the right-hand side, and we're again, I felt like we're too high. They get in, Jack Butland comes out and spreads himself really well, makes a good save. And it does take us a while to get into it. I'm thinking the first 15 minutes, we're kind of flat. It's almost like we're waiting for something to kickstart us. We're waiting for something to spark us, something to happen. And then maybe 12 or so minutes in, we managed to fashion a chance, and it's actually quite good play. We go right down the middle, and we break lines, and then Miovski goes through. You'd expect him to hit the target, and he doesn't. Right, okay. We want him to do better in that, don't we? And then it's a wee bit huff and puffy, right? We're kind of moving it about, and without any real purpose or perhaps tempo. And then we get a really good goal because Sama goes down the left, he crosses it in, Kenny, and Ant-Man cuts it back for a lovely finish by James Tavernier as he volleys it into the roof of the net. And on the balance of play, I thought it was quite even until that point. But it was certainly a well-worked goal, at least.
It was a cracking goal. I don't think the cross from Gassam is the greatest cross, but Ant-Man does brilliantly to flick it back across, and it's a brilliant finish, actually. Really good on the volley, almost like a scissor kick type of finish. It was very, very decent. And I thought we kind of merited that. I thought the Miovski chances should do better with that, Stevie. I don't think there's any doubt in that. I think he just rushes it very slightly, I think, and lifts it when you stick it in the corner. I actually remember him scoring a goal against us for Aberdeen from a very similar position, and he just rattled it in the bottom corner. And you expect better from him because he's a good finisher. But again, what I would say, and I'm not going to sit here and overly praise the team or Russell Martin here, but I thought today in the first half you could actually see the structure and the patterns of play much more than I've been.
You could, Kenny. You could. It's all right to say everybody knows where we are with Russell Martin, and I think there's perhaps probably a fear from us because everybody is so negative and everybody wants Russell Martin out, and I don't think there's much disagreement here, but we are allowed to say that they played some good stuff in the first half. I said it on the vlog, and you always get, you never quite tell from what you're watching at the game. Do people watching it live really feel the same as it is? But I thought we were decent. Thought we scored a good goal. Then get given the penalty. We missed that. Unfortunately, it happens. And then we should score. It was some lovely passing moves. Conor Barron has a great shot, which the goalie saves really well. That would have been a great goal if we had managed to get that. We don't. Suter then adds another one, and we were pressing. There were some breaks. Tello Asgard maybe should have played in Gassama, I think, on the left. He tries to go and then is blocked. You would want more from him in that position. And there was some good stuff. We broke lines. We were doing what we feel was better stuff. So I'm with you. I think, Russell Martin said we played outstanding, some outstanding football. I wouldn't be using words like that yet. I think, outstanding if you were 2-3 up, then great. Obviously Cornelius had that finish, and it was, I think, offside and handball. So, we understand that. And at half time, you're thinking at 1-0, that was quite decent. But we were talking at half time, and you said, what did you say your biggest fear was at half time?
I didn't think we'd keep that up for 90 minutes, mate. I just didn't. And I feel that's the major issue with this football team. And I agree with you with Russell Martin saying that he thought we were brilliant or outstanding or whatever it was. And with all respect, you have to understand where you're playing, who you're playing against, and they were allowing us to have a lot of the ball. So those patterns of play that I'm talking about were really quite simple to play because they did give us that space in the midfield. They stood off us quite a lot. But the second half, that was my fear in the second half, Stevie, that you're looking at it at half time, and I think I messaged you, didn't I? And I just said, I don't think we'll keep this up for 90 minutes because we haven't done that yet. And that's always my concern. And to be fair, and I am going to be fair, Livingston aren't a bad side, Stevie, in respect to the Premier League. They go about their business and they will create some chances. And I think what we did in the second half was just not start. And we've seen it far too often at the start of games or the start of halves. Even again today in the first half, we didn't start quickly, Stevie. We have to be in the front foot much, much quicker than we are. That's what I would say. And I think that's what caused our issues in the second half. We just didn't get moving at all.
Right. And here's where I am with this, right? We're too slow, far too slow. And it starts from the goalkeeper and it starts from the centre-backs who take the amount of times in goal kicks we were leaving it. And we've heard Russell Martin talk about this. He wants to leave it to the very last minute, but you're inviting the press. And when you can't break the press and spring the press properly, like they were doing to us, and we should be better, right? A lot better on the ball and things. And we weren't. We actually stopped playing the balls to break lines and the riskier balls, and we lost our way. And we found it difficult to manoeuvre the tempo that we did in the first half, and we were very slow to start, Kenny. So there's my biggest issue. But we play ourselves into some horrible positions from goal kicks, and that needs to stop. During the week when Diamandi got sent off, Kenny, we done it to ourselves down the left-hand side and we lose it. He overstretches and that's what happens. So I would like to see us being able to put together two halves, first of all. That needs to come, and we need to keep the tempo. When it was good in the first half, the tempo was actually nice and we did move it well, and outstanding, I think, is a bit much, but we moved it and we can have that. So I don't mind that in the slightest. But the drop off, and he said it in fairness on Rangers Telly, the drop off to the second half is monumental, like in terms of quality. And it all comes before that. And Stevie May, I think, goes in and has an attempt, which Butland really saves quite well. But at that point, you're sitting going, where'd the downfall of the amount of times we fell over the ball and tripped over the ball or gave the ball away or played ourselves into bad passes, bad choices, playing teammates into problems and inviting the press, and you're on the wrong side, and and Butland slipping a few times with goal kick. Everything just started to mount pressure. And then we wobble and we panic, and there's no experience or there's no leadership in there that goes to people. Calm down, lads. Take 5 minutes, play yourself back into it, and it'll be fine. And of course, that sets you up for 70 odd minutes and Livi equalising, because we don't manage that. And we don't, I'm not going to say they don't have the balls, that's not fair. And they don't have the kind of mental toughness to ride out these moments of wobbles. You've seen it in Bruges, you've seen it, against Genk, you've seen it against Motherwell away, you've seen it St Mirren and stuff, where they crumble under pressure far too quickly. And Livingston, all the signs today was this is going to happen again.
What we're doing, mate, is we're being lackadaisical. We're encouraging teams by. I did the Genk game with you on Thursday, right? And there was a point you'll remember where Jack Butland played it out to Makoma, and it ends up going out for their throw in right on our corner flag or something like that. And we did exactly the same thing today. And it's encouraging teams, because when there is that lack of intensity about your play, and there's a lack of concentration, I actually thought that was quite apparent in the first 15 minutes of the second half. There was a real lack of concentration, really bad first touches, really poor passing, and it gives teams encouragement. And I'm going to use a big Phil Clement phrase, and once you get the second goal, it kind of that allows you, or it takes the spirit of the opponent away a little bit, and that's what I want to be seeing from here, mate. If you can turn around and play and I'm not saying we were brilliant or anything like that, but as well as you did in the last 25 minutes, half an hour of the first half, come out and go for the jugular instead of standing off, almost standing there. There was a number of times when it started right at the start of the second half, it kicked off like that, where we get kind of just suppressed almost on the left-hand side. And we couldn't get out, and we tried it 3 or 4 times, and every single time Livi were taking that encouragement. And to be perfectly blunt, when they did get the goal, it had been coming from the start of the second half. So I don't think any of us would have been surprised. And from there, what Russell Martin does is throw out the textbook and throws caution to the wind, doesn't he? And everything that he wants to do kind of gets binned, and that's what concerns me sometimes, because that ended up like a game of basketball.
Yeah, so Marcus says he says he wants players to take risks. We don't. That's the problem. Well, that's what I was kind of trying to allude to. Risk is a good word for it. It's even I talked about not breaking lines and not being brave on the ball. That's what we didn't do in the second half. Like, for example, we would work it out. It would come to Asgard, and Asgard in the first half was being brave. He was turning. He was using the ball. Raskin found space. We were getting it to him. We were clipping it wide. And there was lots of points in the first half where Raskin maybe could have played Ant-Man or Gassama earlier, and he slightly didn't. But there was a lot more better signs in the second half. We didn't. It kept coming back. Livi then equalised, Kenny, and I need to talk about this goal because it's all of the things that are wrong that we've seen. First of all, from the throw-in, we're 2-1 out there. So that means the boy throws it to Stevie May. Stevie May rolls it back to Montgomery, who's a left-sider. So that's always the plan from the thrower, to get it back onto the left side so that he can bend it in. And to be fair to him, he does a terrific cross in. And so we don't have anybody out there. We're 2-1. We're not trying to stop the cross. We're not well set up. That's your first thing. Secondly, nobody reacts to that cross at all. Both our centre backs, Suter and Cornelius, are nowhere near. Now, I watched Man United yesterday against Brentford, and if it wasn't for the keeper, who I won't try and pronounce, doing a couple of fabulous saves in the first half, it was this carbon copy Maguire, just far too far away, heading, thin air, trying to clear it. We need to be better. We need to be much better in these situations. And once again, Kenny, from not a set piece as such, because it's a throw, yes, but we've seen it before. We're not defending set pieces well enough. And after that, Livi got a corner, and the boy Montgomery has a free header which goes high and wide as well. We cannot defend like that because it has cost us already.
I actually was kind of stunned when it was so simple. The two of them standing there, Makova's got to go out to them, and you're like, well, he can't take both of them. Why is nobody taking responsibility and going and attacking the ball? No, and they don't do it. They leave it to a 19-year-old, and that's a concern. The boy's got all the time in the world to put the cross in. As you said, shortly after that, the boy Montgomery's got a free header and he balloons it miles over the bar, doesn't do well with it. But for the goal, I thought Suter just peels away from, what's the boy's name? Silla. He pulls away from him. He just walks away from him and gets caught underneath the ball, and the lad's got a free header. And he's a decent big player. I quite like him, actually. Liked him last season at Dundee, and I thought he did well today. He played at centre half. He played at right back, and he's a centre midfielder. So he looks a decent enough big player, that lad, and he took his goal very well. But again, as I say, Stevie, for me, more than anything else,
it's a free header, though, isn't it? We can't do
that. In your 6-yard box, yet again, and we've seen that often enough against Bruges away, that Stevie, that it needs worked on. We can't allow teams, particularly a big team like Livi. They were a big. You would have seen that yourself today, first, with your own eyes. They're a big team. So,
Kenny, under 13 teams are big teams.
That's true. But to be fair, they haven't had to do very much at all to score that goal. That's what pisses me off about it. As a Rangers fan, you just look at it and go, do you know what? They've not even had to work hard to get that, because it's 2-on-1, as you say. The boy's got all the time in the world to whip a cross in. It's a cracking cross right onto his head. The centre halves, one of them's not even looking. One of them's facing the other way, and the other one literally walks away from the guy he's meant to be marking. And that's my concern, Stevie, that this isn't going to change. That's the kind of worry that I have, that we keep seeing this, and it's not changing. So, at this rate, we're going to have to score 2 or 3 goals every single game to try and win a game. And it's ultimately you can't do that. So that's where we're going to, again, drop a huge amount of points if it doesn't get sorted, because
it's such a poor goal to lose, absolutely, isn't it? So that point, Kenny, the fans then make it abundantly clear the position. Chanting against Russell Martin, Martin get the fuck, is so loud and clear. It's heard. I catch it on the Matchday vlog, which again you should check out because it's wonderful, and I done it, so please go and check it out. It's clear. Russell Martin, get out of our club. Really clear chanting, and that was going on. And meanwhile, Rangers ripped up the tactics board, so to speak, and just threw a wee bit of caution to the wind. And it was actually quite nice to see. Mikey Moore come on, Chermiti come on, Bayrami come on, Max Aarons comes on. We shuffle it about. So it's a bit of a mixed match. I didn't know what we were doing, but in fairness, what he does do works, because, and whoever thought it, we start crossing the ball and there's 2 up front, and it just starts causing problems. Now, honestly, it's almost like some sort of sorcery and witchcraft where we've moaned that we're old guys, right? And we've just moaned 4-4-2 or try and play 2 strikers. I was impressed with, I was excited when they signed Chermiti purely because I wanted to see 2 up front. And we start getting crosses. Now, Majowski gets a good header that gets tipped over. We start getting crosses and we're pressurising. And it signifies something, that when we've looked our most dangerous under Russell Martin, at times it's been because the players have just started to throw caution to the wind and just started to chuck balls in. All of a sudden we start to chuck balls in and there's pressure, and Chermiti wasn't great, right? But he's in the box. So is Majowski in the box. We've got targets. It becomes difficult to defend against. It's not revolutionary. It's not wonderful tactics. It's not like, brilliant from Russell Martin. It's something that I'd like to see us do more of, because, as Maka says there in the comments, it took the predictability right out of what Rangers were going to do. And all of a sudden we're swinging it in. We start winning corners. And eventually from that corner, and by the way, a lot said about Mikey Moore. I thought Mikey Moore, without being outstanding, was present. He had the balls to try and stick in at it. He worked some corners. He worked for it. He had a shot, and look, he struggled, right? And he's struggling, but he showed balls when he came on to try and influence the game, to try and get the winner. Eventually his cross gets blocked. Tav swings it in, Raskin flicks it in, and because we've got so many bodies and there's other things happening, it drops to Max Aarons, who thunders it into the back post. And thank God, relief as much as anything else. But it was probably coming in the last 10 minutes or so. Without us, when we're in it and we're in the middle of it, being supporters, you never think it's really going to come and it's really going to happen. But the pressure eventually told. And it was a nice finish by Max Aarons.
It was a cracking finish from Max Aarons. It causes chaos when he does that, Stevie. That's the one thing I would say. The boys talking about, takes the predictability out of the play. It does, but it makes it almost impossible for your opponent, Livingston, today to kind of mark up properly, because they're all trying to figure out exactly what you're doing. And, well, we don't know what they're doing, so it's going to be really quite awkward and difficult for an opponent to figure that out. But what I felt that happened there was that there became an actual purpose to our play, which I hadn't seen at all in the second half, where we were kind of bumbling about in the second half, and then all of a sudden he makes a change, he goes to 2 up, and there is a legitimate target, and it was really quite simple football, where it was get it out wide and get it into the box. And it worked a treat, because I know you said that I was on the phone to you earlier on there, just when you were coming home, and you'd said you weren't sure about the goal coming. But honestly, I would say sitting watching it on the TV, I just did, and I don't know if it's just you've got that hunch sometimes, but I felt the goal was coming. Even with 3-4 minutes to go, I thought we're all over them. We're getting corners, we're getting, attempts. We're really imposing ourselves on it. And I just feel that personally, for Russell Martin to survive, he's going to have to ditch an awful lot of what he does a lot of the time, which is quite literally keep the ball for keeping the ball's sake. Get it, be more direct in this when you can be, because as I say, you look at that game and it's the very epitome of what happens in the Premier League and what we've had to endure over the last few years. When you're 1 up, until you get the second goal, that team's always in that game and always knows they're going to get a chance or two, and that's exactly what happened to us. And from there, he's got to throw caution to the wind. And I don't know if you've seen it in the ground. I don't know where you were, but Martin and his backroom staff went utterly ballistic when that ball went in, that goal went in, because you could see the release of tension. And for somebody that says he's not interested, it doesn't bother him, and he's no thoughts on it, trust me, you're talking garbage, mate, because we watched you, and it was an explosion of relief, I think. And listen, fair play to him, he's got his win today, but I've seen an awful lot of folks say that it's papering over the cracks. It's 2 domestic wins in a row, Stevie, so he's got, if anything, he's got something to build on, but he needs to build on it and build on it really quickly.
Yeah, look, we're clutching a wee bit when we're talking about that, but look, it's 3 points that everybody wants. I said it in the match vlog just after we scored. I just want Rangers to win, and build something. Russell Martin's going to take care of Russell Martin and himself. Whatever happens with him is going to happen, regardless of us talking about it. What seems like, every single podcast we do, it would just be nice to talk about Rangers winning, which is nice today. Does it suddenly make us world beaters? Does it suddenly make us, Russell Martin fans? Does it suddenly make us on this unbeatable run? No. It's just nice to get 3 points on a Sunday night so we can go and watch the golf and not hate sport. That's where I'm at with it. So, yeah, I'm pretty goddamn relieved. And the second half, look, it's becoming a staple of Four Lads of the Dream podcast, was the proverbial Four Lads slogan, dog shit. I get it. Nobody's trying to paper over cracks here. Nobody's trying to talk it up. We're Rangers fans. We're just relieved we've won. Kenny, before we finish, we'll have a more extensive pod on Monday night, as you know. The goal was met with not chance of celebration or not chance of anything, but a massive, resounding Martin, get to fuck. We just scored a late winner in a game, and it's pretty clear how this support feel and will not change their mind.
I've always said this, Stevie. I haven't been to away games for a long, long time. Since 2012, I decided I was going to stop. But you can gauge exactly how the Rangers supporters feel by the away support. They are your hardcore. They are the ones that you have to persuade. And I have never known anything like that. Never, as a Rangers fan. I've never seen that. I was actually open-mouthed. Because I bounced off the chair and celebrated the goal and sat back down again, and it was all I could hear. And it's one of the most surreal. I'm actually glad I wasn't at the game, because I would not have known what to have done. with that. Genuinely, I would have been like, what's going on? But as I say, Stevie, that's all I'm going to say about it. Really, is they are more than unconvinced, and if they're coming out with that, the minute you've scored a winner, and time added on, their minds are made up, and I'm not sure what he can do or what the board can do to change that opinion, because, as I say, I'm 55, mate, and I have never experienced anything like that. I found it quite well. That's the best way, because I had no idea how to take that or how to feel about it. But as I say, those are the boys that you need to get on side, and they are not on side.
No, William said it. Fans chanting Martin GTF despite wins says it all. Thank you for the donation, William. Much appreciated. You don't have to do that. We really appreciate it. We appreciate all your support. Question here as well from John. Stevie, daft question. Can you tell me how to join? Andy put up a QR code on Friday, but it was too slow to scan it. John, you've already joined, mate. See the membership bit next to your name. You've maybe been gifted a free membership, mate. So that will give you 30 days. You can go into the settings and just renew. That's all you do, my man. You'll get all the access to the additional shows we do. There is some player interviews with Gordon Smith. I've also finally, for members, I have lined up. They're like buses. I've had 3 yeses from former players, so we'll be recording some Rangers years with some former players as well. One I'm quite excited about because it's a story that hasn't really been told, but was a cracking player under Alex McLeish and Walter Smith. So I'm really quite excited about that one. Somebody who was with the club for a very long time, and somebody I think is considerably underrated. So I'm looking forward to that one. I think he'll be well received as well. So that one is hopefully going to be arranged soon and coming up. A certain former Italian striker will be popping by as requested as well. So we'll get all these done too. So these are for members. If you want to join the membership, please do. The support, I think there's 600 odd members, which really helps us. It's fantastic for the podcast and really allows us to be able to get interviews and be able to, do these kind of things. So we really, really like it and we really appreciate it. If you want to become a member, please check out the YouTube page and simply click on join, and it's from 99 pence. So that's absolutely fantastic. Look forward to everybody that hopefully signs up. If you don't, that's absolutely fine. Please like and subscribe. Subscribing really helps us. Also helps us grow. We're heading hurtling towards 11,000 subs. The support has been incredible. So, John, thank you for your question. Go and check out the extra shows that are there for members. A new one about to go up. Reese Livingston done Rangers First and Favourites with Davey. We'll have that up tomorrow for members as well. So check that out. And if you want to come on the show as a member, please get in contact with us, 4ladsasdream@gmail.com, and we will set up. We're also looking for new shows and ideas and things as well. So if you have one, please get in touch with us. Kenny, 3 points, mate. We'll take that. We can go into work on Monday and not be hiding away as much as we were every other Monday it's been recently. And we'll just look, 3 points, happy. We'll be back on tomorrow night, talk about it some more. But we take the win every day of the week.
You're working tomorrow, mate, eh?
Working tomorrow, mate.
So I thought was the only person in the country that was working tomorrow. Good. Listen, I've seen a comment earlier on. I'm away to watch the golf and have a couple of beers and enjoy my night, mate. But I seen somebody mention it and say, who's got the worst job, Keegan Bradley or Russell Martin? When all I'll say is, well, I think I'd probably rather be Russell Martin in a minute than Keegan Bradley, because he's going to have the best part of 350 million people going for his head tonight. So it's getting very tight there, but the Europeans are pretty much home and hose, mate. And it's been a brilliant watch. I know you've watched it a fair bit yourself, but last night, I know you crashed out and stuff, but the stuff with Shane Lowry and Rory and that crowd was absolutely spellbinding TV. So I'm going to watch it again.
Yeah, well, enjoy that, mate. Thank you to everyone that's joined us. The numbers we get watching live through all the channels, well into our thousands. We absolutely love it. And we really appreciate it. A couple of old baldy guys talking about Rangers finally winning a game. It feels all right. Yep, 3 points, we'll take that. Enjoy the golf, enjoy your Sunday evening, enjoy your Monday off. If you've got a long weekend, you jammy people, enjoy that. The real hardcore workers will be out there doing some HR stuff and ironically from Kenny cutting some hair. So have a wonderful weekend, folks. Thanks for joining us. Please like and subscribe. Huge thanks to our sponsors, Rhino Express, Clydeview Fire Evacuation, and Joinery, Athol Industrial Solutions, CSD Air Conditioning, and our partners, Black Rooster and Art of Gold. Until tomorrow night, Monday Night Live, 7 o'clock, with the Shiny Show, myself, Davey, and Kenny back again to talk more about Rangers. And we will go through it all again as we do. We'll see you on Monday night. Have a great night, folks. Take care. Thanks for joining us. See you all again.
The Four Lads podcast is sponsored by Rhino Express, Clydeview Joinery, Athol Industrial Solutions Limited, and CSD Air Conditioning, in partnership with Black Rooster and Art of Gold. Thank you for listening to or watching the podcast. We hope you enjoyed the show.